I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. And it needs to be expressed, that early civilization, historians, archaeologists, and all that crowd, they say that man first was a caveman, and before he was a caveman, he walked on all fours. How true that is, I don't know. But even Japheth, who look at unbiblical history, put the caveman in a cave, not in a house, but in a cave, with a great big bat on his shoulder, like Fred the Flintstone. And that's what was beginning until he began to learn how to develop. He developed the wheel. He began to develop societies. He developed boats. He developed an economy. But it took him years and years, not just a couple of days. It took him thousands of years, according to the human, if you will, historians and archaeologists. It took him thousands of years to develop a mentality beyond the caveman mentality. One of the things, he beat his wife with that big old stick he had on his shoulder. And a very popular cartoon from years ago called The Flintstones focused on how men used to live in caves. Nobody got angry about that. And so we need to understand the dilemma that is before us, and more particularly the dilemma that is before me, in trying to look and help you move beyond that slave mentality. And the thing I think is also is important is that the deep inside, deep in the heart of Texas, and deep in the heart of people who spent, I don't know how many hundreds of years in Africa living among the lions, the giraffes, the deers, and outrunning a deer, which is pretty good. Not just that, and then living here, is that the way to cope with that process, the prize supreme supergraduate PhD way that the slave learned how to cope with his slavery and with his slave master and his conditions was to be able to appease the slave master and to win his uplift and his trust. Thus was developed what we refer to as house Negroes. See, the house Negro, what he would do is that he said, well, all these other slaves out here, they mad with you, boss. Boss, they mad with you. The baby born mad with you. The mama mad with you. Grandpa died, he was mad. They all mad with you. But boss, listen, boss, what you want me to do? Want me to put them in line? I'll tell you which one of them is doing the wrong thing. I'll tell you if somebody ain't working the way they should work. Boss, I'll tell you if somebody's stealing something. Boss, you want me to tell you? Boss, what you want, boss? And so the boss said, well, yeah, you like a good Negro. Like a good one. And so come on in the house in there and you keep me posted on the security of all the other slaves. Thus was born. So the way we learn, now that now has been transferred because we're no longer in the plantation. That has been transferred to becoming the mayor of the city of Houston. Or the mayor of the city of New York. Y'all want me to, the Jews that put that boy Eric Adams doesn't know which end is up. But them Jews put him in there. And every other, I don't care who it is, what mayor, what politician, what congressman, what judge, what Ketanji Brown, whoever it is, they have learned how to play the game. How to tell the man, I'll do what you want. I'll keep the rest of them in line. Give me the office, make me mayor, and I'll keep them all in line. And so that is the same mentality. There's no difference between that than the house Negro on the plantation in 1776. There's no difference. It's the same thing. They're all the same. So what they do is that they don't live in the house with him no more. He don't actually have them living in the house. But what they do, they buy a house right next door. We live in the white neighborhood. Our children go to the white school. They buy a house. It's the same thing. It's the same mentality. And then the process is that the mentality of 1687, 1732, of the way Hamite people dealt with slavery in America is the way people deal this very day with it. There's no change. Because it's in your DNA. Everybody you know, if you're Hamite, now I'm not just about Japheth and Shemite people listen to me, you know what the deal is, you know who I am, you know, I'm doing a thing here. I'm not excluding anybody, I'm not excluding you. Japheth or Shemites, I'm not excluding you, but everybody Hamite people have known, have been slaves. That's all they talk about. And they talk about it real good. They rap about it in their songs. And there is no change, in other words. America has grown and developed larger cities and buildings and factories and cell phones and computers, but the spirituality and the sociality is the same. There ain't no difference between now and then. The same process. Same process as it was from day one, because it's in the DNA. And the other problem is, because it's so baked into the DNA, is that when someone comes along who tries to change it, you know, they don't want to hear it. So I would think that these lessons and teachings, that people would understand from my heart, I'm not speaking this truth. I've not told one lie about humanity here today, or about God, or about his word. But you will get chastised, because Hamite people have developed a defense mechanism of not recognizing their reality by ignoring it as if it doesn't exist. We not spear chuckers. We were making BMWs over there in Ghana. No, you weren't. No, you were not. You chucking spears and outrunning those deers and antelope. That's what you were doing. And it's not hate to say you did it, especially when it comes from someone such as myself who's trying to lead you somewhere else. I want to break that curse, heal you of that spirit, and take you to ATLAH, the promised land that God has promised us. I think that the other thing that's very important is that Hamites make the best athletes. No doubt about it. Why? They were raised in a society where the strength of the body was the main calling of the day. That was the economy. A strong body, a fast body, a quick eye. In Africa, that was the survival. That was the survival of the fittest. Weak bodies, weak people physically didn't survive. So the stronger, the more athletic the body, the more chances you had of becoming the king or the leader, etc. So Hamites are very good athletes because of their DNA.